Ladies and gentlemen, coaches and players, I'm your host Rob Schreier, and welcome to Hardwood Heroes, your source for Tri-Valley Conference basketball. With a week and a half in the books, playoff fever has reached fever pitch across the state, and most area teams are just one win shy of a sectional crown and a trip to the Convo. Alexander continues to shock and awe the region with lockdown defense, and it was on display once again as the Spartans forced 31 turnovers in their opening playoff win against Southeastern. The ladies from Albany will square off against Portsmouth West for a trip to the Convo on the line. And for more on that playoff matchup, let's talk now with Blake Brody, our Alexander expert. And Blake, we know what Alexander wants to do with their efficient offense and lockdown defense, but what does Portsmouth West have to do to get two upset wins in the playoffs?
Simply put, continue to do what they've been doing, Rob. With last week's victory over third-seeded Chesapeake, they really opened the eyes of everybody in the sectional that they are a team to be reckoned with. All of a sudden, they've won 5 straight games. They're playing their best basketball of the season, and it's because of their guard play lately. They've gotten great play out of Kristen Graff and Taylor Newman, and they're going to need that to continue in order to be successful against Alexander's vaunted press defense. I'm talking with Senators Coach Maynard. He did say they've been simulating that press D of Alexander all week long in practice, so they should be prepared for whatever Alexander throws their way. And another huge advantage for the Senators is their size in the paint. Becca Mosley, a senior, stands 6 foot 1 inches tall, and that will be a matchup they're going to look to exploit against Alexander, Rob.
And both teams, as we said, like to play very tight defense, and that's going to be something, if you're out at that game, expect it to be very low scoring. Thanks, Blake.
No problem.
And if a single moment defined Athens' season, unfortunately, it might have to be Tori Dixon's half-court buzzer beater that ousted the Bulldogs in the opening round of the playoffs. The loss took some of the luster off Athens' otherwise solid season. The Bulldogs enjoyed a second-place finish in the TVC Ohio and won 3 more games than a year ago. But to put things in perspective and kind of look back at the season, let's talk now with Bulldog expert Aaron Laviola. And Aaron, the team really struggled out of the gate, but won 6 out of 7 conference games. What are some of the things that came together during that stretch?
Most of it had to do with their mental game. They gained a lot of confidence as the year went on. They started to understand that they did have taller players inside the paint in Elena Line, Jamie Sindelar who had more of a body presence, who started getting a lot more rebounds, and then transfer Emily Hopton, who's also 6 foot. Sometimes people forget about her. And Coach Horsley told me that one of their biggest things that they focused on in practice was their shooting, because at the beginning of the season, they couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. But you know what? Their shooting percentage just consistently got better and better and better as the season went on, mostly because they used the inside paint for those easy layups. And Cindy Willis and Raven Klein started hitting some jump shots. And one of the players, I've already mentioned her name, Jamie Sindelar. She's one of those girls that I really we've only begun to scratch the surface on what that girl is capable of. Because she got varsity time last year, but this year, with the confidence, she started getting more rebounds and being more of a key player.
And you just mentioned Jamie Sindelar. We'd love to look ahead to the future. What are the Bulldogs looking like next year?
They are losing 5 seniors, but they're not. But you know what? The players they have left have a lot of varsity experience. We've got Eliza Christensen and Gracie Staton, who will both be juniors next year, and they are scrappy. They are very, very scrappy guards, and you know what? They are absolutely fearless. I can't count the number of times I saw Elena Christensen drive in and try to get a layup against someone who was a foot taller than her, just because she wanted to try to get things moving. And then, of course, we've got Elena Line, who has plans to be in the weight room with Jamie Sindelar all of this year to gain some of her muscle. And again, Emily Hopton, 6 foot. I want to see what that girl can do as well.
An buff version of Elena Line and coming back for the junior season just makes me scared sitting in this chair. Thanks, Aaron. And one thing we learned, the TVC has learned this year, is that you can never count out Nelsonville-York. After the Buckeyes struggled in the beginning of the season, the team regrouped and won 5 out of 6 down the stretch after only earning 2 previous wins. And to break down the Buckeyes season, Maddie Kuhn joins us here at the set. And the Buckeyes went 7-13 on the regular season. Did that really encapsulate what they did the whole season?
It couldn't, because for most of the year they were struggling with injuries, and that really affected the team's chemistry. It was clear when you look at the wins and losses on the schedule. They break off 4 wins in a row, and that's when everybody's healthy and playing well, and they've got good unity and cohesion going on. And then they drop 5 of the last 6 games of their season. Starting against Alexander, Maria Marnez gets hurt, which probably explains why she didn't score in the second half of that game. Then Lindsay Davis, an important sixth man coming off the bench, gets hurt against Wellsted. She can't play much against Athens in a rematch that they were made the upset previously, which was a great win for them on the season. Shelby True gets hurt against Vinton County, may be playing hurt in the playoff game against Crooksville. So, I mean, anything that was positive that came out of this season, those 7 wins, was that younger players got great court time to just see what they could do out there and really experience the varsity level.
So we mentioned it. What did those younger players learn this season?
The younger players, they learned that there's no substitute for team chemistry, and the injuries really taught them that. And they also learned that they need each other to succeed. They need to play as a unit and play strong together. They also learned they need to be more vocal and be leaders. Kelly Cox, she's the leader on that team, and now that she's gone, they're going to need their seniors, Lindsay Davis and Emily McLean, to step up and really start getting vocal out there. They need to see basketball as a passion, not just as an activity.
I mean, and Coach Amanda Dalton really has that team committed. They're going to be in the weight room, on the court in the summer, and really should expect a lot from the Buckeyes in this next season. Thanks, Maddie.
You're welcome.
And for more on Nelsonville-York and the rest of the TVC, keep it locked to woub.org/heroes. Inside the From the Bleachers tab, Maddie Kuhn brings us the stories of 2 Nelsonville-York families in which community and Buckeye basketball go hand in hand. And of course, all the latest playoff scores, highlights, and analysis are all at your fingertips.